Dzień dobry, YouTube. Evie Tommy to another episode of Atticus Eats. My bandana looks a little funky right there. Looks like I have a horn, but I don't. It's just angled. But my dear friends, I probably should start carrying around a tripod if I'm going to be doing these external videos like this, because my vehicle, which is I love, is definitely not conducive hood-wise as far as being able to do the filming that I want to do. But I'm adapting and overcoming, and I have you positioned here on my windshield / wiper blade, and it seems to be working just fine. We'll see how long this lasts. I have an evidence thing I'm going to show you guys, by the way, not for a crime, but for something cool that we aforementioned, and I literally just looked down and saw it. But dear friends, we are here today. It's a summer day. It's definitely hotter than other days have been, but it's still good enough as far as you know, something fun to be able to experience and be outside. There's a gentle breeze going on, so it's wicking away the sweat. Even though I don't wear moisture wicking clothes, the breeze is, and so we're handling business in this regard. But my dear friends, lunchtime once again. I'm so grateful to be here with you all, and my dear friends, we are going through the sandwich shops of glory. Now granted, these are not the family-run, you know, personal kind of stores. We did try to do that with that place called the Sandwich Spot, but now we have gone through Subway, we've gone through Jersey Mike's, which was wildly impressive. I'm very much a big fan of Jersey Mike's. Now, we've made our way, at your request, to Jimmy John's, the JJ place. Jimmy John's sandwiches. Very excited to be here and be able to procure one for you guys. I left the Jimmy John's location, came up here. I'm in a church parking lot right now, actually, because there's shade and not a lot of traffic like there was in the, well, there still is traffic because it's California. I think our default is traffic, but not as much as it could be, and so hopefully I'm audible and I'm able to be here with you guys today. So we've got the hood as our table, which is kind of nice, and we're gonna just give this thing a whirl. Got a combo for you all today, and it was actually kind of funny. The lady that was working there, she said that their drink machine ran out of CO2, and so they didn't have any carbonated beverages, but they did have bottled beverages, and so I got myself a Sprite, which is the soda version of lemonade. I have not had a Sprite in a very long time. And so, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can capture the sound. Yes. A little bit of carbonated beverage action. And carcinogens, because it's in plastic and not glass. Nezdrovia, people. That is very good. That is very good. I've not had Sprite in a hot minute. To have a bottle of it, that's pretty cool. It says recycle me. Like everything. Don't fall. Go there. Perfect. Alrighty, friends. So, I did not know, as a preface to this, I did not know that Jimmy John's did not just have only one Italian sandwich. They actually had 3. And they have what's called the Vito, which sounds like it's their basic one. They had the Italian Club, which is a different thing. And then they had the Ultimate Italian. The Ultimate Italian was the one that caught my eye because it had a picture associated with it, and so it looked pretty cool on the menu. And so I went with that. And we have the Ultimate Italian, sans, onion, and tomato. Add mustard, because you guys know I like mustard. But it has the Italian meats, so salami and others, but they added bacon to it, which we're going to see how that is. We've got this oregano sauce, a little bit of oil and vinegar, I think, and mayo, and I think lettuce too, so we'll find out. But because I got it as a meal, we have the Jimmy brand of chips, and I asked the lady what's the best one, and her favorites are these, the salt and vinegar, which were actually the ones that caught my eye. She said they're really vinegary, which I personally like, and you guys know I really like that taste. So we've got this going for us as well. So we'll get to those here shortly, and might as well take the receipt and stuff that in my pocket. All in, So sandwich, customized. And the bread is toasted, which I'm really happy about for that Italian. Sandwich, chips, drink as a combo. You're looking at $18.52 after taxes. So, again, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong by watching the video, I believe Jersey Mike's has been the cheapest sandwich place thus far, and yet with mungo quality. I think a woman is laughing at me because of filming whilst eating. Bag, don't be belligerent. You're going down there now. She might have said OMG in a church parking lot. That's not nice. That's funny. So, I'm probably gonna have to set this down so I don't die. It's a little soupy right out of the gate. It's just a touch soupy right out of the gate. Look at that though. Smells really good. I think this is a French roll. But it's a bit drippy, so I'm glad I'm standing. And let's get rid of some of the vegetation over here. Napkin, sandwich, Jimmy John's in evidence. Let's see here. Okay. I see you. I'm gonna take another bite before I start judging. Okay, so right out of the gate, the bread, very solid. They toasted it well. It's got a nice firm toasted exterior, but a warm, soft interior. The only thing is, they definitely oversaturated it with the oil and vinegar. And this is partially me needing to remember to tell them not to put that on, because it makes it soggy. And I don't want my bread to be soggy when I'm having a sandwich, right? So, that's definitely a thing. I'm also not a big fan of the stringy hair lettuce. It leaves a bit to be desired. The meat is good. The meat has a really good salty, but not overly salty taste. Their bacon is very, very, very good, because their bacon has a smoky taste to it, which I really like, and they crisped it up so it actually has texture. You get a little bit of a crunch to it, and that I really like. Yeah, only thing is I'm not getting overtly heavy notes of like, hey, this is an Italian sandwich, if that makes sense. I'm not getting those spices, like that pepperoni, salami, kind of bright flavor that I would expect from an Italian sandwich, and that, again, Subway and Jersey Mike's and the like really delivers on. And so that part of it is a little bit disappointing as well. But I'm still eating it. It's still pretty good. I am getting that little bit of a garlicky taste though from the oregano something or other that they have on there. Aioli. And so I do like that. Interesting. It's not bad. It's genuinely not bad. You know what else would make this really good that it doesn't have? Pickles. It needs pickles. So you guys, this is really cool. This plant right here is the evidence thing I was pointing at here. And I absolutely love it because this is actually the plant that I was talking about in my handles video, where I was saying these will be in bloom and they'll have this wonderful oniony smell. And when I can smell them, it's that smell that takes me back to childhood. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's this plant, whatever this plant is, it produces that odor and it does that. I don't smell it now because it's obviously it's August, it's late summer. And it's been in, you know, it already bloomed and did the odor thing that it was gonna do. But man, this is so cool that I was able to see this here today, and that way I could show you guys. It's like, hey, there it is. That's the one. That's what I was talking about. There's semi-truck horns going off over there. This is a classic case of the more I ate, the better the sandwich actually got. I'm very happy that it was toasted. Excuse me. And the sandwich itself was really good. I personally would by no means call that the ultimate Italian sandwich, right? I think it was lacking some important stuff that could have made it better. There was literally like one layer of salami, and the rest of it was mostly the ham and the other meat that they were using, and only a very infinitesimal amount of the bacon. But I actually am kind of glad, because I feel like if there was any more bacon, it would have been too chewy. And so the texture variance was really, really, really good. I ate that half of sandwich, and I'm saving the other half. Actually, I'm gonna have it later. I'll stick it in the fridge, and when I pull it out, I'm curious to see what it tastes like when it's cold, as like a cold cut kind of sandwich. And I wonder if that, like, wetness, the dampness from the oil and the vinegar will be mitigated by that. However, Jimmy John's as a place to go to is really, really, really tasty. That one was particularly good. I know that a lot of people want to encourage me to go to Firehouse Subs. I don't know that I ever will. There is one that's within proximity to me, and I went there as a kid, and the one day that I went there, I got horrific food poisoning from it. And so I don't know that I would want to go back, but granted, I was eating a meatball and marinara sub sandwich, and so maybe whatever the issues were with that particular sandwich, maybe it'll be mitigated if I were to go and eat something else. So I might not outright say no. Jimmy John's was pleasantly surprising. I did not expect this to be as good as it was. I do want to say, I think that I enjoyed Jersey Mike's better. And so, I forget the rating that I gave Jersey Mike's. It might have been 10 out of 10, or it might have been like a 9 or an 8 out of 10. So again, tell me. For Jimmy John's though, for what it is, I would definitely say that Jimmy John's is probably equal to, if not slightly better than Subway. So I'm gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10 for the sandwich. Them at least having options for their carbonation machine being down, I really respect, and this is why in restaurants you do have, you know, the backups to backups. So even though they have a soda fountain, they still had a handful of bottled beverages, so I get an actual beverage. But now I want to try approved by Mama Super Seal. That's funny. The Jimmy Chips salt and vinegar flavored. Says crunchy and salty and a mouth punch. I like that. So dig in. Our Jimmy Chips are tasty and extra crunchy, just like they ought to be. I love that. Ooh. Pungent. Pungent scent. Alrighty. They remind me of Miss Vicky's chips. Yep. Those are very solid. They're literally just Miss Vicky's chips, but they have Jimmy's name on them. Very solid. I'll save these for later too. 100%, 8 out of 10 on the Jimmy chips. They're the kind that get stuck in your teeth though. You know what, I'll downgrade that to 7 out of 10. But still really, really, really good. Was it $18 good? But money aside, taste was definitely there. Taste was definitely there. I'm very thankful to you guys who encouraged me to go to Jimmy John's and try to find one. And obviously we have a plethora of amazing other restaurants that we'll be able to try and experience, or that I can take you guys to and share awesome memories with you all from my childhood. Speaking of memories from childhood, guys, no comment section question today, but I do have a story for you all. And it's actually because the last time that I was here in this parking lot, I was sharing the stories of my drivers. And actually, excuse me, it wasn't here at this parking lot. This was when I did my Five Guys Burgers video, I want to say. That was the last time I shared a driver story. And if you've been with the channel for a long time, I've made mention to you guys about how I've known and been able to meet and experience and communicate with a lot of different drivers over the years when I was in the industry and being able to be driven for like publicity or travel for work or whatever. And I would meet some really, 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 really cool people. Well, this is a story of a guy that I wanted to share real quick. And he is hands down one of my favorite drivers that I've ever had. And what's, again, very disappointing is we're talking over a decade of when I saw this gentleman, this individual. But he emanated goodness. He was a very nice, polite guy. He was an African guy from Africa, immigrated to the U.S. legally, and let me tell you what, he had such an amazing journey. He drove me and my mom. It was on one of the appearances that I did for Home and Family, I want to say is the show, Home and Family on Hallmark, which I love that show. I love being able to go on there and interact with those hosts and everything and do the different things that we did, which I have a very funny story about Home and Family. So if you guys want to hear it, tell me in the comment section below. But for this story today, this gentleman, he was such an excellent, very safe driver, but he was personable, and he spoke with Mom and I. And it's one of those situations where, like, he was very complimentary to us. And he had a journey where he was one of, like, 5 siblings. And 3 of the siblings were in America, the other 2 were back in Africa. But he had spent That's probably copyright infringement music that just went by, so if there was an abrupt cut, now I'm here, that's why. No, so he had this amazing journey where wherever he was born in Africa, obviously very freaking dangerous place, and he and several of his siblings left. And when they left, they went to Germany first. And so he spent time there in Germany. Oh, that's it. He has a couple siblings in Germany. And then he immigrated with another sibling to America. And he was just telling me different stories about his life, but one of the chief ones being, he shared his testimony with me because he's a Christ follower. And one of the absolute most real deal, genuine Christ followers there could be, I believe it was something where he was like really down. He was not in a good place mentally, emotionally, or in his life. And it was simply the act of someone giving him a Bible. And he was able to read it for himself, and when he did, everything got unlocked for him. And he developed his relationship with Christ that way. And then he now is continuing that and paying it forward. And he was telling us stories about how he would give these different people like rides out of their town. He did a lot of traveling for work, doing different driving before he did the studio driving. And he would just have an awesome opportunity to meet people and minister to them, and he would give Bibles to them. Just a very awesome, profound, like, worker for the kingdom. And what was really impressive too is he was telling me he spoke English perfectly with a slight accent, and his accent was actually more Germanic than African, which was so interesting. And he said he spoke 5 languages. It was Arabic, German, English, and then 2 African languages. And it was so funny too, because he was saying, I have a sister who still lives in Africa, and I forget a lot of the language when I'm here, but when I go back to visit her, it comes back like that. And it's like, dude, you are a linguist. That is so ridiculously impressive, right? To be able to have the mind for that language. And I've always had a fascination for languages too. I know a little bit of German, a little bit of Spanish because of obviously being here in California. I'm wanting to learn more of the Polish, which you guys know, the intro and outro of my videos and whatnot. But in high school, my second language was American Sign Language. So that was really cool. And that's something that I was very, very fluent in. And when I was practicing it with regularity. But then, you know, as time goes on, things sort of fade, but I know enough that I can carry on a conversation with a deaf person or a person who knows sign. And that's actually what I really love about sign language as a language, and this is actually because of my mom that I got into it, is you have the, almost like the, oh, I forgot the sign, like you can fingerspell. And so you're able to, like, spell out words if you need to and still have a conversation with someone. And that's what makes American Sign Language in sign language period, such an interesting language to learn, because you have one way of communicating. There's a way of communicating no matter what, right? Whereas if you were to go, like, to a foreign place and let's say I forgot a particular word in another language, if they're not an English speaker, you can't just default to your native language and be like, what? You know what I mean? And so that's where it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But anyway, credit to this guy. If I never get to see him again in this life, I know I'm going to be able to see him in the life to come. And that's going to be a huge, huge blessing. He was such a cool dude. And definitely my favorite driver that I ever had, I think. Hands down. He had a great energy. Great person. And he had the love of Christ in him, which was so cool. But brothers and sisters, my dear friends on YouTube, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Guys, do me a favor, check out the links in the description box below. Link to my Cameo page. I would love to be able to take part in your families or your friends' celebrations and make them extra special. Consider booking me down on Cameo. It goes a long way to supporting the work that I do here on this channel, as well as my Twitch channel, which the link for which is in the description box below. England, the language. And my dear friends, would love to be able to have you guys come by and hang out on the streams. We're starting some new games. Last week at time of recording, I was able to complete a lot of the story-driven games that I was playing for a while there, and kind of wrapped up what I wanted to do as far as this particular wipe of Escape from Tarkov. And so, moving on to some new games, at the encouragement of my friend Tom, who's also one of my moderators, I'm going to be starting a classic game called Mass Effect, which is like his favorite game of all time. Very much looking forward to that. Also going to be starting or going back to a zombie video game that's one of my favorites of all time. It's called No More Room in Hell 2. Amazing development team there. I got to communicate with them a little bit. They're really, really, really good people who love what they do. So obviously love being able to support independent artists in that way, especially when they are committed to what they love and they're successful. So definitely come by, check us out there. It's gonna be a great time. Be kind, obey the rules, and don't have your first message be, "Hey Brick, how's Cindy?" Don't ask why. Anyways, cool people, love you all so very much. Hope you're having a gorgeous Saturday and have an amazing week ahead of you. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one. God bless. Dovid Zenya.
I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time, something I look back and say that was a great time, cause man I just hate when the years pass by the wayside.